phone in.
And of course, Holly's not even in here.
Oh, she'll show up.
This is just
she's working on it.
So
Yeah,
the
this is typical.
G6 just came out in like March or April, so that would make the G7's arrival 2 months early.
Okay. Can we get a close up of Caleb right now as he's looking at his computer, just so we can zoom in there?
Yeah.
That would be
Early April in the U.S. So,
okay.
So
All right,
serious.
I'm glad we got that. Yeah, this is a very serious
Yeah.
intro for the Whiskey Mist. He takes this quite seriously.
Listen,
No games here. Even though we're talking about games, no games.
let's talk about waffles for a second. I've been staying at the Ramada for the last couple of days.
I'm curious as to why, but that is.
I'm not huge on the hotel, but my daughter loves it. Why? Because free waffles. You go down there, and anytime you get waffle batter out of like a pressurized dispenser, you know you're starting your morning off correct.
Yeah.
And so they have the little cups. You pour the waffle batter in there, pour it into the flippable Belgian waffler.
She's stoked. She's on
She's
cloud nine.
loving life. And then she's
Yeah.
like, oh, and you also have muffins and donuts and Fruit Loops? So basically, my daughter just gave herself diabetes this morning. And I have the Ramada to thank for that.
Listen, I've been staying at the Ramada Inn for a while now. All right.
This is stuff you need to know.
Key information.
The Whiskey Mist doesn't usually stay at the
It just
Ramada.
makes sense that the Whiskey Mist would be staying at the Ramada.
I picked it because it was close to her school, but I'm switching. I'm switching to the
You're gonna bail
residence
out?
inn. Yeah, I'm switching
yeah.
to the residence inn today. And while the black mold in my bathroom gets taken care of.
Jeez, man.
When the movie version of the Whiskey Mist comes out, it's going to open up with you pouring waffles.
Yeah.
It'll have that Better Call Saul like intro where I'm all depressed, like he was at Cinnabon, and I'm just like, this is the worst life
Your
ever.
phone doesn't turn on, you get mad, throw it at a wall, and then start your day.
That's how my life goes. That's how it's been lately.
All right.
I'm glad you're here, Caleb.
So much.
So glad you're here.
All right, makes no sense as far as what we're talking about, but hello, everyone. This is Trends with Benefits. This is our weekly roundtable podcast where we talk about the tech topics of the day, and we broadcast live on Facebook and YouTube. And we're on there right now. And we've got a question that we put up there, and I want to see what people think about that. But before I get to that, just to understand the format, we go through several different topics. We want your opinions. We want your feedback. If you agree or disagree on all the things that we're going to be talking about, we've
Like
got
waffles.
like waffles. That's a good question. Waffles or pancakes? I have a very clear answer on that one. We're going to be talking about the Amazon Alexa Dash 1. We've got some virtual reality news. We've got some LG news, some, I think, fairly breaking news about something going on with them. And, of course, we're going to be talking about E3. The main question we put up is that the new Xbox One X supports 4K and is backward compatible. Will you buy one? So that was the big announcement at E3. We've got a few things we're going to talk about with that, but that's a pretty huge deal. So we want to know your opinion on that. But why don't we introduce our cast here for the roundtable? I'm Greg Nibler. I am definitely waffles. I do not like pancakes. I'm anti-pancakes. Waffles all the way. That's my answer for that. To my right, first time on the show.
Hey, Hanif Jackson. I'm Team Flapjacks for sure.
Team Flapjacks.
All the way.
You call them flapjacks too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's not even
First show
pancakes.
already got a nickname? Like, dang
Wait,
it.
flapjack. Oh, that's
Flapjack.
Flapjack. That's
Hey, I
it.
like it. I like
Bam!
it.
Right out
Bam.
the gate.
Off
All
the
right,
bat.
flapjack. Okay.
Holly. I used to be team waffle, but now I appreciate a good pancake.
Really? You've
Buttermilk
switched.
pancakes, though.
Buttermilk.
Not cheap. Nice,
Okay.
fluffy pancakes.
Okay, expensive pancakes.
Yes.
Not the kind that you get, like the kind you get at Ramada, or not the kind you get at Ramada?
You can't get a pancake at the Ramada.
Okay, all right. That's
Not this Ramada, anyway. Not all Ramadas are created equal. Like the one in Berlin, pretty nice. The one on Stark and 97th, not so much.
I mean, Stark in 97.
Yeah. If you live in Portland, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the Whiskey Mist, by the way.
I've been there for days. It's the Whiskey Mist, Caleb Denison. Definitely team waffles there.
I bat for both
Oh.
teams.
Oh, swing it both ways. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right, that is
true.
important to know. So right down the middle, Whiskey Mist always keeping you guessing. You never know which side.
Culinarily speaking, I am open and versatile.
As the Whiskey Mist should be. I mean, that's a mystery that nobody needs to know the answer to. I mean, it's you do what you want to do. You know, wild card.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
What
All
day
right.
is this?
I don't know. All right, let's get on to our topics here. A couple of answers coming into the chat here. Amanda says crumpets, so she's going with crumpets over the waffles or
fancy.
flapjacks in our hot tech
That's
debate.
super fancy.
That is very fancy. That's above our level, I think, in here. All right, let's talk about E3. E3 in general, they just got done, or it's wrapping up in LA right now. And
E3. What? Sorry about that.
Is that Caleb's nerd voice?
Did that hurt?
Okay.
Dan,
Let's talk about
Dan's
E3.
ears just blew up. Sorry about that, producer Dan.
Well, the main thing.
What is E3?
Okay, Hanif.
I'm pretty sure it stands for something. I don't know.
Oh my God, that's not the answer we were looking for.
It
The
is.
Expo Electronics Entertainment Expo.
That
Yes.
is exactly.
There you go.
That is it. All right, good job, Holly. You're working towards getting a nickname. So that is E3, and that has been going on down in LA. This is where all of the video game manufacturers kind of debut their new things. They put out trailers, they tease new things, and we have, of course, all the consoles that are coming out. And Xbox, we've been talking about this for a while. Xbox has had this mysterious Project Scorpio that they've been working on that's rumored to be their new groundbreaking system that would be coming out. And Scorpio, I think, was a pretty badass name.
I agree.
Yeah, and the new system, though, was unveiled here at E3. Microsoft brought it out. Is going to be called the Xbox One X. And there's a few things with it that are pretty cool. They're claiming that of course, it is the most powerful console ever. They've got some things to back it up. And also, in addition to just that kind of the inside on how it works, we don't need to go into all the details on it, but it's a very powerful machine. But it does support 4K UHD with full HDR support, and a couple of the key things of it are that it can upsample 1080p displays, so games look sharper than ever, and is backward compatible. So that's a huge thing if you are, for the gaming side of it, that means if you have an old Xbox 360 game, and I think all the way back to an original Xbox, you can put it into this Xbox One X and you can play that game. You don't have to go buy a new version, you don't have to throw it out basically and consider it useless unless you want to play with your old console. You can play it on this, and supposedly it will upsample it and make it look even better than it ever did before. That's a huge bonus, I would think, if you're a hardcore gamer.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
like, hands down.
Is this something that would influence you on this?
Yes.
Okay.
Without a doubt. I think the biggest thing is that back catalog. The fact that I can go back and grab all those old games and put them in, and they're super sampled, and they look more amazing than they did before. Yes, please, give me one.
Yeah. Okay. So already you're willing to hand over your money. So it comes out November 7th and it's going to be $500 when it comes out. I think one of the things that I'm looking at it as is, gaming consoles, whether you play games or not, the console itself has more and more become kind of the center of a home entertainment system because you can do so much with it. And just the fact that I don't have a 4K television, but I probably will get a 4K television at some point.
That's the thing. I understand that people are like, well, if you don't have 4K, then what does it matter? Here's the thing is, like, you're going to buy a new TV pretty soon. Think about how close you are to needing to buy a new TV. For some people, that could be as many as 5 or 6 years. But for most people, I mean, that's in about 2 or 3 years max, right?
Right.
And it's going to be a 4K TV, So why not look forward to being able to take advantage of that 4K resolution when you get that new TV. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's lost just because you don't necessarily have a 4K TV now. You probably will down the road.
Right.
And hopefully, well, I don't know, with the way Xbox is going, maybe you're going to have to or be compelled to buy a new console in 2 years anyway. But I don't think that the 4K thing is just a superfluous thing to be dismissed. I think it's meaningful to a lot of people.
Yeah, there's some comments coming in. Holly, I want to know if you would buy this too. Comments coming in. Walter asks, would it play Blu-ray movies? I'm assuming it does play
Blu-rays
as well,
and
yeah.
Ultra HD Blu-rays. So you can take advantage of the 4K resolution and HDR on your fancy new TV, and you don't have to buy a separate player. And that's the thing.
That's
is
huge.
Xbox has been a great media console. Beyond the gaming, they've done a pretty good job of being a good media console. And so, all the apps are available. It plays the discs, which, the PlayStation 4 did not. So, I think it's a great media console.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things. Now, I've seen a couple of comments coming here. Matt Smith is joining us right now, I believe still down in LA. And he says they'll have another new console out in 2 to 3 years. So that's kind of his point on it. So, I mean, I still don't know if that would be enough to deter me from buying it.
Right, it'll be like the Xbox One X Plus or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that's something to consider in it. Although, what else can they put into it that they don't already have at this point? I mean, 8K compatibility.
Well,
down the line.
here's the thing. No, God,
I mean,
no.
that's what I mean. Like, what else would this thing need for it to, be exceeded?
Well, would need
VR.
That's where. So this is not. Correct me if I'm wrong, and if Matt's engaged in the podcast, please respond, Matt Smith. This is not Project Scorpio renamed as something else.
No.
This is just a new Xbox One console, and Project Scorpio is still in the works, correct? I mean,
as far as I understood it, and maybe Hanif, you can. chime in on this too.
Matt. Come on, Matt. We need you, Matt.
From
Yeah.
what I read, this isn't like the newest console. It's just an update of the Xbox One.
right. That's what
Granted, the hardware and everything about it is more like a new console,
Right.
but it's just an update.
Well, yeah, but I mean, let's see. So we speculated for months about the features the Xbox Project Scorpio would have. No, I think this is kind of what Project Scorpio is supposed to be. Maybe there's something further down the line.
I was expecting, VR support to be a big part of
Matt
what
said,
Project Scorpio was.
To confirm, it is Project Scorpio.
Really?
So this
Okay,
is Project
all right,
Scorpio.
all right.
Well, I'm glad we cleared that up.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a
I
point
was
of
confused too.
confusion.
Yeah,
Even for
clearly,
people who,
and
Yeah.
I thought I knew, but then even you questioning that, I was like, okay, maybe you're right, because I think the naming also leads to a lot of confusion with that. If they'd stuck with a Scorpio name, but naming it the Xbox One X, it does kind of just sound like it's the latest upgrade to it.
Well, I do know
it's
that
a brand new console.
I do know that it's got some fairly souped up hardware. I was looking through some of the specs. I mean, there's so much E3 coverage. Honestly, it's hard to
It's
drill
hard to
down
filter
exactly
through all
what
of
you
it,
want to
yeah.
know, because there's so many opinion pieces flying out there. And
Yeah.
just like the basics sometimes are hard to get to. And we have some killer stuff about the Xbox One X that really gets you
Can I just
thinking
make a
about it.
comment about the way it looks?
Yeah.
Because it's it's black. It's a rectangle box. It looks very just low form factor. You could put it on top of your audio receiver. You probably might just mistake it for another piece of audio equipment. I think they did that with purpose. I think they if you look at the original Xbox and how gaudy it was with the ridges and that big green emblem in the top.
Yeah.
I think they moved away from that to make it look more just like a professional piece of equipment.
Right, something that'll blend in, since it is going to
Right.
be kind of the
I
centerpiece.
mean, I like the form factor of the Xbox One S was a nice evolution for me, because they put the power supply in the unit, so you didn't have the massive, gigantic brick that you tried to hide behind your entertainment center. Which, by the way, also made noise because it had a fan in it. And I haven't been able to drill down. I've been buried in other work, but does this thing have a gigantic power brick again, or did they manage to put the power supply inside it?
No, I believe it's inside it. It's actually all smaller. That's one of the
That's
things they're talking
great.
about. It's smaller than any of the other consoles that they put out. I don't think it's quite as small as the PlayStation Pro, I believe, but they're pretty close. When I was looking at the
The
specs,
smallest
earlier,
one they've
but-
ever made, though.
smallest
right?
one, yeah,
But not
yeah.
by much.
But this VR idea, that is what a lot of people are talking about. So Wacosta says it's a souped up Xbox One. Where's the support for VR? That's a good question.
Yep.
I don't know if that's something that'll be the upgrade that comes out next year or something like
Do
that.
we have a price point for this yet?
The price point is $500.
Yeah.
$500 comes out November 7th, I believe, is when it officially comes out. So again, talking about the new Xbox One X, and definitely, VR seems to be the main thing that people are wanting from this. That it doesn't have. But other than that, it seems pretty top of the line for what you can get. And there's a lot of other VR systems. Who's to say that Xbox's VR is going to be the best one? It's going to top HTC or
I will say that the HDR element, for people who own a 4K TV that does HDR fairly well, and that is a growing segment of people, still small.
Yeah.
But man, it looks amazing.
Yeah,
I've
it's
seen
mind-blowing.
PlayStation's 4K with HDR reel that they have available on like a LG OLED or a Samsung QLED TV. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's just so. It's closer to reality, but it's still clearly, an alternate reality. I love it. I'm excited. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
So you know me, I'm always poo-pooing everything.
Yeah, I
so.
just figured. I figured Caleb was going to hate everything that we're going to talk about. That's just assumed. But Holly, what do you think? Is there anything of this that will make you go buy this, or what would it require for you to go out and purchase this?
I kind of like the points that Hanif and Caleb both made, where it's kind of a media product. It's kind of an entertainment system rather than just a gaming platform. I kind of wish my parents moved a year ago and I sold everything, 15 years worth of Xbox games and controllers and content. So I kind of wish I still had that now, but I would see myself using it as instead of the DVD player and, getting on Netflix and all of those things.
You just made me think of something. How many GameStops are getting raided right now for all their old Xbox games?
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to
And
find
are
Guitar
those
Hero
prices
right
going to
now.
go up? Because
You're trying to
I
find
bet
Guitar
there's
Hero?
a lot of
Yeah, Guitar Hero's my jam.
a lot of people like you who gave up the games because they thought they would never play them ever again, and now you could. Oh man, interesting.
Are they doing an online catalog too as well? Like, will you be able to just go to like a Xbox store and get the older games?
Well, with the
I'm not
Xbox
sure.
One, with the Xbox One and One S, the way they did backward compatibility was the digital download version of the original
right.
Xbox game, and they kind of slowly rolled out different titles, and they're still doing it, as far as I know, that were made available for the Xbox One, the older Xbox titles.
Sure.
So.
Well, speaking of games, let's actually cover this really quick because Digital Trends just put out the top games of E3. So there's an article at digitaltrends.com. You can check that out. But to talk about the games, Hanif, now you do a show here on Digital Trends.
Yeah.
On Facebook, all about video games. I want you to explain this for anybody who doesn't know. What is your show that you do?
Okay, so we play games at work every Wednesday at 4:30-ish. We try to pick new ones, new titles, try to give you like an early sneak peek. But sometimes we play older ones that have been out for a while, mainly just like in honor of like new features that came out, right? So the one we did yesterday was PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. And at E3, they announced new maps, new features to the games. So we decided to pick it up and play it again. And so we do that every Wednesday, 4:30. Come check us out.
Nice. All right. So for E3, real quick, let's run down. You had your top 5 games. We talked about the Xbox One X for quite a while. So let's get your
A disclaimer: this is my list, my personal opinion. This is not. If you want to check out DT's list, check out our awards. We have them all ranked there accordingly.
All right.
This is
Hanif,
just-
what are your top 5?
So off the bat, number one, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. I can't speak enough about this game. It's an indie title by this company called Bluehole. It is done by a player. I know it's the craziest name. It's done by a player who his actual avatar name is PlayerUnknown. And he this was a self-started thing. He took a game that was already existed, basically kind of modded on top of it, and then created this whole new game out of that, right? And it's, I think, 3.5 million copies just in early release. And it's growing, and they're updating it, and they keep growing it. I've played early release games before and have been let down miserably.
Yeah.
This one, I'm keeping the faith and holding strong.
Okay.
So I think that's my number one.
Okay, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. I see on here you've got Far Cry 5, which that I am excited about.
Yes.
Far Cry 5 has been getting a lot of press outside of even video game news, just for the premise of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's I want to play it.
That is quite the politically charged game, if there was one for this year.
Yeah.
Thanks, Obama.
So Far Cry
wait.
5, we got Crackdown 3 was the other one.
Crackdown 3, my boy Terry Crews.
Now that one, okay, so this one's interesting just for a number of different reasons because of, and I think we've got the trailer to show it. So yeah, Terry Crews is involved in
Yep.
it, and they scanned him in essentially to this game, and the graphics are so good.
He's Commander Jackson.
It looks like Terry Crews. I mean, it really does. Once they bring him up here in the trailer, so that's fascinating.
Yeah,
So you
anything
play
that
as Terry
he's in,
Crews?
I'll buy, I'll watch, I'll promote. Just take my money.
Yeah. Well, he's President Camacho. I mean, you have to.
Wow, that is amazing.
And I'm sorry, if you're listening via the audio podcast, you'll have to come back and check out the video or find this trailer.
mean,
I'll post it, but it is
The teeth.
incredible. The
What did
details.
they like scan his teeth and stuff too? I mean, it's down to the finest detail. That looks like Terry Crews right there.
And this is an Xbox One X game. Correct?
Yeah, it's an exclusive.
Okay, so that's one thing that they will have going, like an exclusive like that. Just that kind of, I mean, precise, amazing picture. That influences me right there on wanting to get an Xbox One X.
I'm sold.
So your last couple, God of War, which is updating that franchise, and then Skull and Bones. Correct?
Skull and Bones, yeah, that's like a pirate game. Sailing the high seas, boarding ships, and swashbuckling, and all that type of stuff. I think to me it's new. I've never played a game like that, so that's why that made my list for sure.
Okay. All right, so those are Hanif's top 5.
That's right.
And so I'll post those two in this post when we get this podcast up on the page. So all right, let's go through. I realize we talked about this for a long time. We've got a couple other things to get to. We'll have to kind of rush through some of them. But Caleb, I know you wanted to talk about this LG news because it seems like getting onto phones, LG's G6 just came out.
It did.
It was what it feels like.
I think it came out in March in Korea and April in the U.S. And, you got to be careful about these rumors because the sources at first seem a little sketchy, and then you got to wait and see what can be confirmed. And still, so this is still very breaking. But if there's truth to the rumor, it looks like the G7 may be coming out in January, which would be a full 3 or 4 months earlier than the G6 came out.
Yeah.
That's a quick turnaround.
It is.
What's going on in smartphone world is what that makes me wonder. If that's true, that's crazy. And then the V30, the successor to the V20 and the V10 before that, according to these rumors, would be coming out in October. So ahead of the holiday season, which would be a smart move for LG. And of course, it'll be interesting to see if LG sticks with the high-res audio and really nice video capture, all the fancy hardware that they stuck in that thing to kind of differentiate it from others in the market. But yeah, this is just now emerging, and it's going to kind of steal the light off of any iPhone rumors, and just for a little bit, and the Samsung.
Well, the new iPhone is supposed to be in September. Supposed to be. Who knows? That's another thing with rumors with iPhone that changes all the time.
Well, and I should say nothing is going to steal the iPhone's thunder. That's ridiculous. I backtrack a little bit there. I'm just saying, for now, I think people are going to be kind of looking at, okay, what's LG coming up with next?
Well, it will get the jump on whatever's new from Samsung next year for sure.
Yeah, we go to IFA every year. That's the big. It's like CES, but in Europe. It's held in Berlin. We go there every year. I guarantee you, we're going to be seeing these phones at that show. So that will be one of the bigger things we check out while we're over there.
So something to keep your eye on is when that does come out. So I'm sure there's going to be an article at Digital Trends about this. This is just breaking news, and that's part of what we do with this podcast. If something's breaking, we'll let you know what it is, kind of get your opinion and thoughts on it. And again, we're live on Facebook and YouTube, so let us know. But that's what that one is. So the LG G7 supposedly coming out in January, which is a lot earlier than you would expect for that. Let's bounce through just a couple of other things here really quick on the show as we go through these topics. This is one I wanted to talk about. It may seem ridiculous. I think Caleb may think it's ridiculous, but I for some reason actually went out and bought something as soon as I found out about it, and it's the Amazon Dash Wand. Now, the Dash Wand has been something Amazon's had out for a while, but it's that little toggle thing that you can scan in essentially barcodes, or you could order specific ones that would just say Tide on it. If you want Tide, you hit the button and you get Tide delivered to you. But this new one that just came out, I believe they just debuted it today, or at least that's when I just heard about it, is now Alexa enabled. So the video that they show with it, and I want to see if anybody's interested in this or if I'm just the only one that's finding this interesting. So the video shows this woman going to her kitchen, and she looks in her fridge, and she sees she has a pound of shrimp or something. She asks the wand, you can talk directly to it, Alexa enabled, so it's Alexa that talks back, what can I make with a pound of shrimp? They list off a recipe that she likes, and then it will order the ingredients and the correct amounts, and then order them from that Amazon Fresh Now, I think is what it's called.
Amazon Fresh, yeah.
Amazon Fresh, and had the ingredients directly delivered to her house in the amounts with the recipe right there, and she can make everything right off of it. You can also scan in barcodes, and it will order it directly from the wand, versus before you had to go into your account and approve it. Now it's like Alexa, you can just have it ordered right away. It's $20. I thought it was pretty cool. I think it kind of gives them a little bit of an edge over Siri and Google Home, maybe, but I don't know. I could be the only one. What do you guys think about this?
I'm really hesitant about a lot of smart home products. That's just me. I'm a little bit conservative in that way, but some people will definitely find some use out of this for sure. I think people with really busy, hectic schedules, they'll find use out of it. But me, I'm still, I'm gonna dip a toe lightly into that market.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm really slow to adopt these virtual assistants. And the only thing I would use that for is cat litter and cat food are the two things that I'm constantly running out of, and I have to get it really fast.
Yeah.
But groceries, I'd rather just go out to eat.
Oh, yeah, so you're not even going to shop for anything.
No, that's what my fridge looks like right now, honestly.
Well, I'm kind of on the opposite side of the spectrum. The Whiskey Miss likes to cook, and I don't have a smart fridge, but I see the handwriting on the wall. That's what I'll say. If we just set aside how practical the product is now and kind of look into the future and think about what this means. First of all, Amazon's having a huge impact on all kinds of retail channels, and now it's heavily into the food channel, right?
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of people really hate having to go shopping, but if you can order the stuff that you need for dinner before you head home, that's wonderful. This is also a shot across like Blue Apron and all these other
Right.
fresh
Totally.
food
Right, yep.
delivery services stuff. Like some deliver pre-cooked and pre-made meals. That's not what I'm
Right.
talking about. I'm talking about the ones that give you all the different elements you
Right,
need to
and you
cook
gotta-
yourself
you
a
gotta
meal.
build it yourself, yeah.
You know, within a reasonable amount of time, pre-measured and whatnot. This is a shot across their bow, and Amazon's far more powerful than any of those other companies are. So they could come in and totally dominate this space.
Yeah.
And I see in the future also the Alexa being integrated into the fridge itself. You can hand scan, or maybe it auto scans as you put stuff in or take stuff out. And helps get your grocery shopping list organized, and maybe puts it all together for you, and you just say order my groceries, and the next thing you know, the stuff that you need, the staples that you need every single week, you always go through a gallon of milk, you always need this loaf
Right.
of bread,
Right.
lunch meats, whatever. It stands to make things extremely easy for people, and I think what we're looking at the future right now. This product is not the knockdown, drag out, amazing thing, but it's definitely an indication of where we're going in the future. And,
Right.
And man, Amazon is just on a crusade right now.
They are. I mean, I think this is just them staying just a little bit ahead of everybody else. Even though this may not be that, ostensibly may not be that impressive of a product, it's still a little bit ahead.
I still
else?
think it's amazing that I can say, Alexa, order my water filter, and
Right.
it just shows
Yeah.
up 2 days later. Like, I love that, because
I
I'm
like the-
terrible about going to my laptop, finding the stupid product number. It's some
Oh, yeah, it's
convoluted,
annoying.
number letter jumbo, and I can't remember what it is. And then I have to go through my order history, and I'm busy. I don't have time for that. But I can say, order my water filter, and it shows up on time, and
Yeah.
I'm not drinking
Now,
crappy
didn't
water.
you have an interesting story where your kid ordered a bunch of stuff
So-
on accident?
Wait, what happened?
That might have happened. Jasmine inadvertently added some stuff to the shopping cart, and some things got ordered and came to my home.
So the technology's not perfect.
It's not perfect. I'm not saying it is perfect. But it also doesn't help that she just gets technology and she can do whatever she wants. She can hack my passwords, and she's 8. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have no hope there. There is no level of security that's going to prevent Jasmine from getting whatever she wants whenever she wants it. But no, it's not a perfected technology. But again, this is more about the direction this stuff is going, and Amazon just are they becoming the next Walmart?
I think they're trying to take on everybody.
Well, they're making it really hard for small businesses, co-ops, and these guys to exist. And I think
Yeah.
there's value in the community and other aspects of having small food co-ops and things like that. And the more they stick their foot in, the more convenient it seems, the less expensive it is. It's like, how can I not? But
Right.
that has a real impact on businesses all across the U.S. So I'm conflicted about this. I like the futuristic. I like the easy. I like the cheap. I don't like that Amazon is just getting that much more bloated.
And that's a really good point. It would be nice if they could somehow coexist with local shops, to
Right.
where a local shop could have an Amazon delivery option or something like
They
that.
do
Yeah.
that with New Seasons.
Really?
So I kind of see that, what you were talking about, the refrigerator, if it was automatically scanning and whatnot, registering what's the closest grocery store and kind of routing through that. If it gets that big, then I could see that totally working out. But I totally agree.
Yeah.
But I would, if
But
my
you're just gonna go out to eat anyway,
If
so.
my refrigerator was scanning, because I buy stuff, I have a bag of carrots I bought. I'm like, this is a great idea. I haven't touched them for 3 weeks. If it knew, don't order that, order this. Yeah, I would.
Right.
Alexa
Yeah.
chimes in. Do you really want those carrots?
I do. I just
According to
don't
your
have
budget,
time to
you shouldn't
feel
buy
them.
this.
All right, so that's the Amazon Dash 1. I'm just curious if anybody else is going to take it. Vicky says the robots are taking over, and that's entirely true.
They
Yeah.
already
That
took
is
over the
Not wrong.
office.
Yep.
Oh,
We had
wait.
JVC rolling around
Is
the
he?
other day.
We
do
do
we
have
have
a Jeff
robot?
bot.
Oh
Wait,
my
you
god!
haven't
You haven't
seen
No,
seen
I haven't.
Virtual Jeff
I have
Van
not
Camp?
seen Virtual
Oh,
Jeff.
Jeff
That's
Bot's
pretty cool.
Because I
Both
told him he's got to
opposites.
come on the show as Virtual Jeff at some point here.
Oh, he will.
Yeah.
He will.
Yeah.
We'll just
Okay.
roll out a chair and roll Jeff in.
That's
on
a tease
Instagram.
for a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Stay
okay.
tuned.
Follow Digital Trends Instagram and see Robot Jeff. All right. So the final thing, let's skip to the last topic here just because we're running out of time. But this was one that I thought is finally a really good use of virtual reality. And it's based on some research that's being done as far as how VR can actually help people instead of just, cool games or different ways to interact with it. This is a way that it might help stressful situations for people. And they're checking it out with a dentist visit. I mean, the dentist I hate going to the dentist. It's stressful and you never know what's going to happen. I mean, I don't like people drilling on me. But that sounded really weird the way I just phrased
nice.
that. So, but virtual reality, they tested it out with people putting on VR, like a VR experience with headphones and everything, to where one of them was just them going for a walk through, and obviously it's moving for you, but going for a walk in a park while you're at the dentist. And they said the stress level was dramatically decreased by using this kind of experience. I think that's a great use of the product. A great way that maybe you could start incorporating VR. I mean, I'm imagining, things that I hate doing, waiting in lines for too long, going to the DMV. If you can sit there in a VR headset and somehow make things easier, this is a good use of that product. Caleb, I know you're hesitant on VR too yourself.
No, I mean VR is fine. It's just I wonder about the disconnect between what you are feeling and what you are seeing. Like, because you might be taking a lovely walk down the beach, but still your number 3 bicuspid hurts like hell, and you feel this guy like prying on your jaw, and your jaw's forced open. And I'm sorry, there is nothing VR can do to make a crappy dentist experience any better. I just don't believe it.
But that's what that's good Novocaine. That's what they need. That's if you still feel it, then that's going to be a problem. Holly, what do you think?
Well,
about this?
I've seen it. I have a friend that works at a psychologist's office, and they use VR to kind of like walk people through. So in the inverse, they put them in the situations that are stressing them out to help them kind of like talk through it and then kind of desensitize. So then when they actually find themselves in that situation in real life, they know how to react.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, I see it used in that fact. But being at the dentist office, though, as a dentist, I could see it because you're kind of waiting and constrained. You have nothing else to do. But if you're waiting in line, if you're at the DMV, like, I'm kind of with you. Being cut off from the world, I wouldn't like that.
I will say that it helps
Maybe
with
not the DMV.
It helps with the chatty hygienist problem.
That's
Have you ever gotten one of those where it's just like
How
they
you
just
doing? And you have your mouth full of things like
and it's like I know that they do this all day, and but I mean they have like the most banal stories ever, and I'm just like, listen, I don't care about your rabbit frou-frou.
You are.
And like
You're so right about that.
I appreciate a pleasant person, but like, please don't talk my ear off. I really just want to, do people do that when you get a mani-pedi? Where they just like,
well, I don't know, Whiskey. When was the last time you got a mani-pedi?
Too long, honey. Too long.
No, you are 100% right. That actually backs up my point that VR would be good, because I remember the last time I went to the dentist and her assistant, she was complaining about how her husband made bad soup the night before, and she was all pissed off about him. And it went on. It was like it felt like it was a 20-minute story.
Well, and it's one directional.
I had to listen to this.
It's a one-directional conversation. You don't get to have. You don't get to say, well, what did he forget the bay leaf or whatever? Because you're
not involved in it.
They're
It was
crap in
them
your mouth.
complaining about
so
her
does a
husband.
VR headset solve that?
Because
Yes.
then you
Yes,
can't get engaged.
you are in another world.
I'm going through a walk in the park. Yeah. I don't care about soup. at
I'm
that
walking
point.
like an Egyptian right now.
Yeah, add some, some drugs on there when you're all drugged up for it. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Oh, it could be interesting.
Yeah, it could be good.
Or we could see a whole bunch of people puking in their dentist chair.
That's the other possibility.
Yeah,
Because-
nausea is a real thing with VR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
All
haven't
right.
experienced it yet, luckily.
Well, good for you.
Just
Greg recounting that one time he fell over and puked on himself. Sorry, VR.
Just one. Yep, that was it.
Just that one time.
All right, I think that's about it for today. So, again, this is Trends with Benefits. This is our weekly roundtable podcast where we talk about all the things that are trending in technology. And we broadcast live on Facebook and YouTube, but we have an audio version of this podcast available too. So go to iTunes, just type in Digital Trends, subscribe to all our podcasts on there, and join us every week, live Thursdays at 2:30 p.m. Pacific. Next week, we are out, but we'll be back again the week after that. And Hanif, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on.
So, again, when is your show on?
Every Wednesday at 4:30, we play games
Wednesday
at work
at
on live on
Pacific
Facebook.
time.
Pacific time.
It's flapjack now.
Flapjack. I'm
Let's,
sorry.
let us not
Flapjack,
forget.
Whiskey Mist, Holly. You're still not there yet. It just hasn't happened. It has to happen naturally.
Stole my thunder.
All right. Thanks for watching. We'll be back 2 weeks with another episode.